Hey YouTubers, Chris here. Today I'm going to give you a review on Despicable Me 3. If you haven't seen the movie yet, be careful for spoilers, and let's begin. So the movie starts off with your quick introduction of your villain of the movie, which is Evil Brat. And that is his introduction. It starts off with the 80s tone, and then they fast forward into present time, where he goes and battles off against Gru. The movie isn't so bad. It is overall well put together. However, there's just a lot of missing pieces, and I feel like compared to the other two Despicable Me movies, this movie, in my opinion, has missed the mark. The entire movie, in my opinion, seemed very predictable. It seemed a man on a revenge plot, trying to avenge why he lost his audience because he had puberty. And that is the overall theme of this movie, just a man trying to get his revenge, where I felt they could have explored a lot more areas and they chose not to. Overall, one of my biggest problems with this movie is I felt that Gru had no overall character development. He was just the same character. Compared to the other two movies, he's grown a lot. And to this movie, I didn't feel any growth for him, no character growth. He lost his job, and where was the development? The only idea he got was, well, if I could steal back this ruby out of, Evil Brat, well, I could get my job back. But he had no other reasoning behind his work. I felt that there was just a little bit more he could have done. He could have showed more depth in saying, wow, I lost my job, like what can I do, to make it up, instead of having a scene where Agnes is basically trying to sell her unicorn and her stuff and make it seem like they're going to go really down the drain. I didn't like the idea and intention they went there. I felt that this was Gru's problem and Gru should have been the one to fix it. I thought that Lucy had one of the better character developments for this movie. She not only had to deal with the loss of her job as well as Gru, but she also had to deal with the struggles of being a stepmother. And I believe she did a really good job in her role in this movie. Moreover, going into Drew, I thought Drew was a really annoying character. His character was a complete wimp. There was nothing exciting about him. I didn't like that they even had an idea of he had another evil brother. And that was pretty much it. I didn't really like his character. They could have made it a little bit better. I mean, it was totally obvious that at the end he's going to end up stealing the minions. That was really predictable, and that's the theme of this movie. It's very predictable. And lastly, Evil Brat. I honestly thought Evil Brat would have been a cool villain in the beginning, but as the course of the movie went on, he became more like an annoying brat. He wasn't entertaining. I didn't like how he was. His whole plot was obvious. He wanted to take over Hollywood, and he failed, obviously. And that was it. He had no other motive. There was no emotion for him. Where is the reasoning? Yes, you lost the audience. Nobody wants anymore because you grew up. Well, get over it, move on. But he didn't do that. I didn't like it. It was terribly explained, in my opinion. He could have had another reasoning, a more deeper reasoning, to show more depth to his character and show more of a reason to be a villain. But he had no other reason, and that's my issue with this movie as well. And now for my favorite segment, the quote of the movie. Today's quote of the movie has to go to Gru. In his quote, he tells Agnes, "Life is just like that sometimes. You hope for a unicorn, and you get a goat." And in my opinion, this is your classic dreams versus reality. You dream, you have so many ambitions, and then you let reality sink in, and it kicks in, and then your dreams just start going further and further away. Well, you gotta always have a positive mindset. That's the important part, and always follow your dream. If you have your ambition, do not change it. Keep pursuing your dream, and then that dream will be the reality. For my final thoughts, the minions are always great and entertaining, but in my opinion, they cannot salvage this movie. This movie needs a little bit more work and development, and if you're expecting a unicorn in this movie, you're probably going to get a goat if you're going to compare it to the other two Despicable Me films. And that's why I'm going to have to give this movie a 3 stars. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, please subscribe.